It is time to do the AD carries. Hello everybody, my name is KingStix. Let's jump right into it. We only have 18 champions right here. These are the most common AD carries, and the only AD carry I included that is melee is Yasuo, since he's one of the more common melee ADCs. First up on our list, we have a favorite of mine, not as an AD carry though, but as a jungler. As an AD carry, he sits solid in the B tier. He doesn't have great tools in lane for trading. Hardcore AD carries like Draven, Lucian, Yasuo, anything with a lot of raw power will just completely out trade him, and even Caitlyn because of her range advantage. Plus he has high mana cost, he takes a long time to scale. There's really not a lot going for AD carry Twitch. This is where he belongs. Next up we have Lucian. He sure has fallen a long way. He's sustained several damage nerfs, and it's hard for him to compete with hyper carry late game AD carries. For that reason, we are going to have to put him in C tier for carrying solo queue, since he does not scale great and his early and mid game compared to other AD carries aren't even as good. So unfortunately, Lucian, you are high C tier. I'm sorry to tell you that. If you are really high challenger though, he will be higher up on the list, but in general, he's a C tier. I would not touch that champion. And then we have Jhin. He's a borderline one-trick champion because of his awkward kit, but we're not going to quite put him in there because he isn't as difficult as several other AD carries on this list. Jhin is only really good whenever lethality is busted. Jhin has only ever really been good whenever lethality has just been straight up busted, or whenever Rageblade was straight up busted. For this reason, he is going to be in the C tier. He's relatively weak right now, and we will put him slightly behind the Lucian. They are relatively the same though. He's still a decent pick, especially in low and mid elo, if you don't want to rely on your teammates to pill for you, since he does have that massive movement speed. Something that I really want you to think about is you can win with all these AD carries. If I put an AD carry in C tier and you win with them and you main them, keep playing it. If you enjoy something and you win at least 50% of your games with it, don't let anyone tell you not to play it. Next up, we have Varus. Varus is a turd potato sandwich, and with the recent nerf of Rageblade, he really isn't getting any better. It's hard for him to match up against things like Caixa or Vayne, who do the same thing he does, but they're more mobile, they have more utility, and just do straight up more damage. Because of that reason, we are going to have to set Varus in the C tier behind these two goons. And then we have Draven. If you are a smurfer, if you are boosting, or if you are a one trick, Draven is low mid S tier. Otherwise, he is basically B tier. But for the sake of this video, we'll put him in one tricks. And then we have Kog'Maw. He's only good whenever Rageblade's OP, but he never has quite recovered from his W nerfs, peeling off loads of its max percent health damage in the form of magic damage. Because of that reason, he's actually really crappy. He has no escapes. He's relatively squishy. He's super hard to pill for, and all of his main source of damage is auto attacks, which you can counter through other means. So there's not a whole lot going for Kog'Maw here. Because of that reason, we are going to have to put him in C tier as well. We will put him one spot in front of Varus, and he's borderline one trick material. And then we have Kalista. She is honestly a B or C tier AD carry. If you are one tricking her or smurfing or boosting on her though, she is an A or an S tier. She specializes in dumping on low and mid elo because of her dash mechanic, but once you get into higher elo, it's hard to build up those leads, because without building consistent leads on Kalista, you can't really win any fights. So we are just going to leave her in the one trick category, would not recommend her. Next up, we have Ezreal. He's probably the best AD carry if you don't play AD carry. Super easy, very reliable, decent damage, decent utility, and he has a great tool for chasing enemies down and for getting away with his blink. So we are going to be setting him in the A tier. Next up, we have Sivir. Sivir right now is S tier. If you're wondering why, crit items are really gosh darn strong. Phantom Dancer is insane. It gives you a 600 shield in your later levels. With a 600 shield, it's pretty much impossible to kill her because she also has her spell shield. So if you're an AP assassin, well, she just soaked up pretty much 2 of your spells just with the Phantom Dancer, and she soaked 1 of them with her spell shield. Not only that, but her damage is insane. Great AoE, amazing teamfight ultimate, amazing wave clear. Sivir is S tier. Next up, we have Ashe. She is a more team reliant AD carry with her hawk shots to help out her jungler. Really good with jungle duos. She's also really great with getting picks with her ultimate and for long chasing fights. She's really good in those situations. If you don't have anyone to pill for you, she's a B tier or a C tier AD carry. But assuming you're picking her in the right conditions with either a support or a jungle duo, or you're playing her in higher elo, she is A tier, very solid champion with the current crit items and Phantom Dancer. And then we have Tristana. She's actually relatively weak right now. I'm not quite sure why she is, but she's not getting picked much and her win rate is poop. She is a solid one-trick champion because of her jump mechanic. If you can read a situation and know if you're going to win it or not, she's devastating because getting away from that jump slow is just too difficult. But once she does commit, she can't really get out because if she starts to lose the fight, if she miscalculated, she's stuck there with no escapes. So we are going to be putting Tristana in B tier. She is a pretty good AD carry though, and she does fluctuate pretty hard through the metas all the way up to S tier down to C tier. But for right now, we'll leave her in high B tier. Speaking of B tier, we have Ziya. She does take a while to scale. She can take really great advantage of crit items, and she has a decent amount of self-peel with her snare and her ultimate. She's really good if the enemy team comp is assassin reliant because of her ultimate. It's basically a free hourglass slash reposition tool. We are going to be putting her in B tier right in front of Twitch and behind Tristana. She still has a lot of weaknesses in her game, such as her early and mid game before she has several items. Next up, we have Jinx, an absolute powerhouse menace taking full advantage of how strong crit items are, including Phantom Dancer, which is a lifeline item. Fun fact, the lifeline passive is unique, so you can't really build more than one lifeline item. Just even more proof of how OP Phantom Dancer is. We are going to be putting Jinx in S tier behind Sivir. She has amazing late game, decent early, solid mid game, and just the late game is absolutely insane. She has the longest range in the game with her rockets, and they're also AoE crits once she is full build pretty much. So she is just absolutely disgusting. Highly recommend her in low and mid elo since games tend to drag out then. If you can't make it to the late game though, she's not a great pick. Next up on our list, we have Caixa. She is really solid in the early, mid, and very strong in the late game, especially with her new Mana Moon build. The raw AD damage on it is kind of nutty. She has solid self-peel, invisibility, repositions, and insane max percent health damage. She's an A tier AD carry because of the Rage Blade nerfs though. If they buff Rage Blade or if they give her a buff, she could easily bounce up to S tier. Very strong AD carry for one tricking as well. And then we have Yasuo. I would not recommend playing in bot lane unless you are duo with your support or jungler. He is highly reliant on having a CC bot laner such as Alistar, Blitzcrank, Thresh, or Pyke. Or if you are playing in low elo, you can get away with having something like a Nami and Janna and playing passive until you can get at least part of a crit item and then all-inning the enemy bot lane at level 6. So we are going to be sticking him in the one trick category. He is a very niche champion in the bot lane at the moment. And then we have Caitlyn. She is sitting very pretty right now. Same reason why most of these AD carries are, because she can take full advantage of how strong crit is. She is arguably one of the best AD carries in lane phase because of her long range and bully potential. She has a solid mid game, and in the late game she's really damn scary with her long range and headshot damage. Plus her traps can make it really difficult for a lot of champions to close the distance and get past her front line as well. For that reason, we are going to be putting her in the lower section of A tier and nearly one trick material because she has a lot of advanced mechanics such as machine gunning. Next up we have Vayne. The Rage Blade nerfs hit her really hard, but she is an amazing pick if the enemy team has multiple tanks or at least one really beefy tank because of her true damage and press the attack keystone. If you're playing her versus tanks, she's easily S tier. If you're just picking her in general, fairly weak early game and mid game would put her somewhere around the high B, low A tier. But once again, if you are picking her versus tank, she'd be S tier. So for the sake of this video, we'll set her right here in front of the Caitlyn. And then last but not least, we have Misfortune. She can't really take advantage of crit items because of her kit, and she doesn't really take advantage of Rage Blade either, putting her in a very unique situation where she relies off of her early game bully power with her Q, and she also relies on her ultimate in team fights, which does give her a lot more prowess over other AD carries such as Lucian, Varus, and Kog'Maw in team fights. For that reason, we are going to be putting her in low B tier. However, if you are low elo, I would highly recommend her. She's super basic, easy to learn. And that is going to wrap up our AD carry tier list for patch 9.10 plus. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with any of these picks, but more importantly, leave your rank and thought process behind it. I'm not saying your rank to be malicious. I'm saying your rank because I'm interested in seeing the differences of people's thought processes and champions depending on what rank they are, since different champions tend to be stronger in different ranks. Don't forget to smash that like button, comment, and subscribe. It really does help out the channel a lot. My name is KingStix. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.